Unit 10. World. Recording 1. 1.
He said he would see Justin in his office.
2.
He said he had a new job.
3.
They said that they were going to try and live a more ethical lifestyle.
4.
She said she was going to take a taxi to hospital.
5.
The children said they were hot.
6.
They said they had achieved a lot.
7.
Justin said he hadn't eaten meat for a month.
8.
He said he had expected to face challenges as a journalist.
10. Recording 2. 1.
My favourite food city is Hiroshima in Japan. They've got all sorts of food. They've, of course, got the really famous sushi that everyone thinks about when they think of Japanese food. Right. But they've got so much else to offer. Hiroshima's really famous for its okonomiyaki, which is like a cross between a pancake and a pizza. And it's kind of egg and like a flour mixture with cabbage and noodles and meat and sometimes cheese. It's really good. One of my favourite restaurants is a place called Daikichi, which specialises in grilled chicken. You can get grilled chicken with cheese, grilled chicken with plum sauce, and a really good soup with rice and ginger in it. I'd love to take you to Daikichi. You'd love it.
That sounds
good. They do good beer too. But also, you can get tempura in Hiroshima, which is like prawns and vegetables, deep fried in a really light, fluffy batter. It's really good. And then you have also the informal restaurants that are called izakaya, where you go with a group of friends and you order lots of dishes and everyone shares and eats from the middle of the table. So it's a great way to try lots of different kinds of food. Actually, I know a really good izakaya that I should take you to.
2.
Well, my favourite food city would be Madrid. I lived in Madrid in Spain for around 10 years, on and off, and the quality of the food is wonderful. It's sensational. Spanish people always say that Spanish food is the best in the world, and I always argued while I lived there that I felt there was a lot more variety in food in the UK. But when I moved back to the UK, I really started to miss the richness, the quality of food in Spain. I think my favourite restaurant in Spain was a tiny little Galician, which is a part in the northwest of Spain, seafood restaurant in a small little bar. It was it wasn't posh or expensive. It was cheap and basic, but just served the most wonderful seafood, followed by lots of white wine and great tarta de Santiago, a great pastry dessert afterwards. Another great thing, obviously, about Spanish food, which you'll have heard of, is tapas, where everyone gets together on a Sunday lunchtime before lunch to have a few bites to eat and a few beers together. And it's a lovely sociable atmosphere, and it's nice to go out and try a variety of different food. I tried once pig's ear, which I have to say was possibly the worst thing I've ever tasted, but generally the quality was sensational.
Unit 10. Recording 3.
She offered to show us around.
He agreed to show us around Palermo.
They promised to cook for us.
They recommended taking the bus.
She suggested trying some of the local dishes.
They invited us to stay.
He warned us not to eat the chilies.
She decided that she would stay.
We explained that it was our first trip to the area.
Unit 10. Recording 4. 1.
Is there anything I should know for when I arrive at the airport?
Yes, watch out for the taxi drivers who tend to hang around outside the airport. Most of them aren't licensed, so you shouldn't really use them.
OK.
If you do use one, make sure you find out how much the journey is supposed to cost. Don't get in until you've agreed the price with the driver, or else you could find that you have to pay 3 or 4 times the amount you should pay for the journey.
Oh, right. That's good to know.
2.
Hi, I'm going to Heathrow tomorrow, and my plane leaves at 3 p.m. Latest check-in time is 1:40. What time do you think I should leave central London?
For Heathrow, well, you'd better leave plenty of time because often there are delays on the tube. Are you going on the tube or the train?
The tube, I think.
The tube? If I were you, I'd allow about an hour and a half. So if you want to be at the airport at 1:30, then you better leave at about 12 o'clock.
OK, that's great, thanks.
3.
Be careful when you take trips into the jungle in the north. Generally, there are a lot of mosquitoes there, so remember to take mosquito nets and insect cream. It's a good idea to wear long trousers and shirts with sleeves in the evening. And don't forget to take your malaria tablets.
Oh, yes, I must remember those.
And, whatever you do, don't drink the water, or you'll get a bad stomach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Always be sure to boil the water first, or drink bottled water. You have to be careful when you eat raw food too, like fruit, if it's been washed in water.
OK.
4.
We're going there on holiday, and I've heard that there's a lot of street crime. Is that true?
Not really, no. I mean, it's like any big city. You need to watch out for groups of young children on the streets. They try to distract you and then sometimes take your bag.
Oh, right.
It's not very common. But don't walk around the city obviously carrying money in a big money belt or anything.
Of course.
The most important thing is to remember to hold on to your handbag and things like that. But no, there isn't really much crime. On the whole, it's a pretty safe city.
That's useful, thanks.
Unit 10. Recording 5. 1.
Watch out for the taxi drivers who tend to hang around outside the airport.
2.
Make sure you find out how much the journey is supposed to cost.
3.
Don't get in until you've agreed the price with the driver, or else you could...
4.
You'd better leave plenty of time.
5.
If I were you, I'd allow about an hour and a half.
6.
Be careful when you take trips into the jungle.
7.
Don't forget to take your malaria tablets.
8.
Whatever you do, don't drink the water.
9.
You need to watch out for groups of young children on the streets.
10.
The most important thing is to remember to hold on to your handbag.
Unit 10. Recording 6. 1.
Watch out for the taxi drivers who tend to hang around outside the airport.
2.
You'd better leave plenty of time because often there are delays on the tube.
3.
Be careful when you take trips into the jungle. Generally, there are a lot of mosquitoes there, so remember to take mosquito nets and insect cream.
4.
It's not very common. But don't walk around the city obviously carrying money in a big money belt or anything.
5.
There isn't really much crime. On the whole, it's a pretty safe city.
Unit 10. Recording 7.
One place that I think everyone should have the chance to see is Venice. But the problem is that this beautiful and charming city is slowly sinking. Ever since the 14th century, engineers have tried to work out a way to stop the floods in Venice. But so far, nobody has managed. Sometimes there are as many as 40 floods per year between March and September. And Venice is actually sinking at a rate of 2.5 inches every decade. It's very possible that your grandchildren and their grandchildren will never have the chance to see this fragile city. Everyone should have the chance to enjoy the city, to walk across its famous bridges, through its ancient squares. There are no cars in Venice, and many people think it helps this to be one of the most romantic cities in the world. So, can it be saved? Well, they're trying. Barriers are being put in to try and stop the water getting too high. This is viewed as a temporary measure, although they should last 100 years, so the problem is finding a permanent solution. If you want my advice, go there while you still can, and then together we can put pressure on the government to spend the money it needs to find a permanent way to keep this beautiful and historic city for future generations. We have an opportunity now to save this city, and we must, before it's too late.
Copyright Pearson Education Limited, 2011.